The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. This is Don Criqui with Tom Matty back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Across the way in the white uniforms, the Falcons are back out on the field, and the 49ers are now coming out. And there are the first half statistics. Perhaps the most interesting, Tom, is the offensive plays down near the bottom in the time of possession. The 49ers really have controlled the football substantially longer periods than have the Falcons, and have had a lot more offensive plays.
They sure have, Don. 36 plays as compared to 23. This is just the opposite of what the Falcons have been doing the last 3 weeks. They've been controlling the ball. Today the 49ers are. They're rushing 95 yards. They've only had 33 yards in completions, or I should say net yards in passing. But the Falcon offense, it's just both of them are staggering. There's nothing there. It's 128 total yards versus 72. That's not too much offense. That's what's got to be generated the second half.
First downs, boy, there wasn't many of those in the first half, was there? Gee. I think we're going to probably see people pitching the football more, particularly Hunter. He did have some guys open a couple of times. That one time Alfred Jenkins was running the post pattern, and the ball was just overthrown. That was very nearly 6 points. And, of course, Rollin Lawrence, he's out here probably wondering where he's at. He's got a Hall of Fame day going. They keep calling him out of the end zone. Sorry, Lawrence.
He may have a chance yet again today, but, you know, get him called, 2 of them back like that, you know, that breaks your heart. And it also wears you out, too, because both of them were for long yardage. You know, 60, 70 yards he's running down there. A lot of people chasing him.
Some of the great competition in recent Olympic history has been in women's gymnastics, and you'll see some of those great gold medalists, Nelly Kim of the Soviet Union and Nadia Comaneci of Romania, who was just absolutely astounding in the last Olympic Games. Next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular at 4:30 Eastern Time in the Chunichi Cup gymnastic competition, which was taped earlier in Tokyo, Japan. You'll also see the $300,000 thoroughbred event, the Gold Cup, as well as competition in the world's strongest men. And now here comes Wyndham approaching the football for the 49ers. Rickman is back deep for the Falcons, along with Carl Farmer, who has the ball, and Farmer had a lane open, was trying to accelerate through it, and then was chopped down on a good play again by Dave Williams. So now the Falcons come out, and I think we might see a little bit more open offense on the part of the Falcons. They like to say, as they say, play conservative offense and non-conservative defense, throw everything at you. They've got to move this football with some big plays. Too tough to run against this 49er defense. Let's listen to Hunter. Quick call. The handoff goes to Haskell Stanback. Ball was down as soon as Stanback was at the 30-yard line, ripped ahead for a gain of almost 5. It'll be a long 4.
He's hurting, too.
Yeah, he's limping off, Stanback. Scott Hunter, the quarterback. In the first half, he threw only 5 times, completed 2 for 33 yards. Still has not been intercepted this NFL season. He was thrown for 1 loss, trying to pass for a 7-yard loss. Pitch back. Mike Esposito runs, and again, the 49ers shut the run down. Mike Esposito, a little back from Boston College. As you see, Haskell Stanback being attended to, his right leg bothering him. Tommy Hart made the last stop. Stanback was originally drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals out of Tennessee. 3rd down and 5 coming up now for the Falcons. Wide to the right goes Wallace Francis. Jenkins comes wide to the left. The tight end Mitchell is to the right side. Mitchell's not caught a ball today. Only 2 Falcons have. They want to get the ball more to their tight end Jim Mitchell. He caught 4 last week against the Giants. Hunter takes a look right to Jim Mitchell, but he lost the ball, and there is a penalty marker down at the line of scrimmage. Tom?
I don't know what happened on this one, but it was just a quick pop pass. Blitz was on. We got it's a going against San Francisco on it. Atlanta's got a break offside.
So that's a big play for the Atlanta Falcons. They get a first down. They needed 5 yards, and they got it on the penalty.
Offside, 53, defense, first down.
Tommy Hart, a 10th round draft choice back in 1968 out of Morris Brown, the same school that produced Alfred Jenkins, wide receiver for the Falcons, was offside on the play. Hart and Hardman to the ends. Webb and Elam the tackles as the run goes to Mike Esposito. He follows the big back Monroe Ely into the line, and there's a pickup of a couple of yards. Tom?
Esposito is a young kid who's had his breaks come and go. He's a good, hard-nosed young kid that they like to keep around. He does a great job on the special teams, and now he's been thrown into action here. The thing that Atlanta has got to do, first down is a great opportunity to throw that football. I don't know why quarterbacks don't do it more often.
Second down and 8 now. Wallace Francis coming in motion back to the line. Falcons go to the run, and Monroe Ely rips it off, going back to the weak side behind Adams and Scott. Warren Bryant and Brent Adams are the tackles for Atlanta. Dave Scott and R.C. Thielman the guards. Isaac is the center.
Haskell's coming back into the ballgame right now.
And there is Jim Plunkett, injured in the second quarter. He took a very hard shot. And there's Mike Esposito now going off the field. Apparently turned an ankle. That's a common problem on artificial turf. They'll warm it up again.
I wonder who's going to start that.
Haskell stand back, gets an opening, and here's a penalty marker down way after the play. A hold is signaled. But we don't know against who. Let's see. Or against the Falcons. So they've had their problems with penalties as Bruce Taylor, the right side cornerback, was really shaken up on the play. His brother, one of the better backcourt players in the NBA with the Denver Nuggets now, Brian Taylor.
Holding.
Another brother at Arizona State is supposed to be better than both of them.
Third down.
Taylor filled a hole on that time, and sometimes that's when you get that bell rung.
Atlanta has been guilty of 9 penalties in this game. They've been assessed 70 yards in penalties. And that time it was a big one because the ball would have been third and very short yardage. Now it's coming up 3rd and 11. With 12:24 to play in the third quarter. Mike Burns, a rookie cornerback from Southern California. Number 28 goes in for Bruce Taylor. Now the 49ers go to 5 defensive backs. Jenkins comes to the near side. They're doubling up on him. And they're doubling up on the wide receiver to the right, Wallace Francis. The big rush comes, so does the linebacker. Hunter puts it up. Jim Mitchell, a diving attempt at the football, just loses it at the 48. He had a definite play on the ball, and he would have had a first down as Hunter was knocked down hard by Tommy Hart.
This is probably the best tight end that Atlanta's ever had, Jim Mitchell. He came right across. Hunter's delivering the ball. It's a good throw, and I think Jim should have caught this. He usually doesn't miss these kind. Right in his hands. Bad place to hit him. He's diving through the air, but you should have catched that one.
And there's another penalty marker down. Even if he caught it down, that would have come back also because there was a hold call against Atlanta on the play, which is declined by San Francisco because on 4th and 11, they'll take the punt. And John James comes out.
Decline, 4th down.
Warren Bryant was called for, but it is no penalty since it was declined.
John James has had a very good active day punting the ball, and he does hang that ball high.
John James has really had a good day. He's averaged over 44 yards on his first 4. One of them out of bounds to the 2. Another high snap. A knuckleball punt, not very deep, but it'll hit down into the sun. And it takes a hop downfield for the Falcons. They let it roll and roll and roll, and it goes all the way down to the 22-yard line. Couple guys mix it up a little bit.
A little cheap shot thrown down there.
So the 49ers now come out to go on offense 1st and 10, and Jim Plunkett is not coming out. Scott Bull is directing him in their huddle.
You usually think of Firestone only on the road. But when you take a day to relax, you'll find Firestone stays right with you to share in the fun. Like children's balloons made of Firestone natural rubber latex. For padded protection, Firestone can supply rubber bumpers and urethane foam. And seat belts on thrillers like these. Under the counter, you'll find Firestone again in the stainless steel beverage containers. For smooth stops, steam locomotives rely on Firestone air brake hoses. Firestone air stroke actuators open the gates to fun. Inside, Firestone vinyl resins for stage floorings. So even when you take the day off, Firestone doesn't. For we believe as long as Firestone keeps thinking about people, people will keep thinking about Firestone.
Jim Plunkett still on the sidelines after being shaken up with a hard tackle in the second quarter. He's had a lot of injury problems in his career. Knee surgery twice, shoulder surgery. That while he was with New England. First and 10 for Scottsville and the 49ers. It's a scoreless game in the third quarter. Pitch back to Del Williams. Very nicely done on defense by Brown. Ray Brown, number 34, the safety, playing the run so well. Stripped the blocker and went to the ball carrier and didn't let him get away.
Mike Esposito, we just had a report on his sprained ankle and is doubtful for the rest of the game. There's the lead block, and the back just couldn't get outside. This is a good defensive play by the defensive back. What he should have done is he got ahead of his blocking. You have to wait for those guys to set those blocks for you. If you had taken them to the outside, then you had the opportunity to cut back up to the inside.
Bob Stenner, our producer, has just been in contact with a team physician for the 49ers. Plunkett had bruised ribs. They could use him, but they're going to try not to. And here come the Falcons on the run. Boy, they got mad and they got after the football. Jeff Merrill was in on the play. Coming on the blitz was Brazina, and coming was Claude Humphrey, and there's also a penalty marker down, which will be declined. That was a hold.
Here again's the blitz coming in. He's setting up, and there's the hold right there, I think. He's grabbing him and tracking him, trying to get any way to get a hold of him. Brazina comes in on the blitz, makes a tackle.
So it's a throwback all the way back now to the 7-yard line. You get some great replays from the end zone. Our director, Tony Verna, was the man credited with initiating the instant replay for the first time back at an Army-Navy game back in the 1950s. It's become as much a part of football on television as kicking off. Here is Wilbur Jackson running the ball off tackle, and he is knocked down at about the 7-yard line. And now the 49ers will have to punt. A very big play on defense, Tommy, by the Atlanta Falcons, going to set them up in good field position.
That's a second sack today. That adds up to 17 sacks so far this year. They're still getting in there. They keep this up, they're going to set a new Atlanta record this year anyway, and stay on top of the NFL. This should give them, Don, really good field position right now, so Atlanta could come in there, get the ball, inside the 50-yard line, and if they get a couple first downs, they can get some points up on the board.
Whittam in the end zone. Here comes the big rush. Moriarty's trying to get at him. Whittam gets up a fine punt, a real wedge shot up in the air. Lawrence takes the ball down and runs it back and loses about 8 yards on the return. They were trying to set a return right. Guys are starting to get mad at each other now. We have some big people bumping into each other with their fists. And the helmets usually win those.
I don't want to be down there with those guys.
So the Falcons get back the ball with 10:59 to play in the third quarter, and still we have nothing on the board.
Take me away, lover. I'm yours. I don't go with married women. What are you doing in our Granada? Granada? This is my Mercedes. Hold tight. Give your hands to my Cadillac. Cadillac? That's the Granada. Alone at last, beloved.
Beloved?
Where's my bride?
You got that Mercedes with another man.
Another man?
The new Ford Granada. One way to tell it from Cadillac or Mercedes is its sticker price. When America needs a better idea, Ford puts it on wheels.
Who is the #1 investment firm in the East? Who is the #1 investment firm in the Midwest? Who is the #1 investment firm in the South? Who is the #1 investment firm in the West? You know who. Merrill Lynch. All around America, more investors turn to Merrill Lynch than any other investment firm. Sure, there are lots of investment firms, but there's only one Merrill Lynch.
Logan's Run, the ultimate trip. Now on a new night and a new time. Monday, starting at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
Tempers are starting to flare here in this game right now. You can see it after the play is over here. Big number 77 sort of gets a shot. 68 don't like it. Somebody comes in from the backside.
Edgar Fields for Atlanta, one of the combatants. His adversary was John Ayers. First and 10 for the Falcons. Hunter hands off, and Haskell Standback runs hard. Standback's running in that off-tackle slants, taking a lot of hits from the linebackers on San Francisco. Across the defensive front of the 49ers, Cedric Hardman. Cleveland Elam, Jimmy Webb, and Tommy Hart. Dave Washington, Skip Vandervaart, and Willie Harper back the line. Tony Leonard's at one corner. Bruce Taylor is back in at the other. The safeties are McGill and Mel Phillips. It is second down and 8. Hunter takes a look, puts it up. Man is open. It's going to be a first down for the Falcons. Wallace Francis crashes down to the 45-yard line of San Francisco. Vanderbilt hit him. That time, the Falcons throw a little change-up into their offense as Hunter took a 3-step rollout.
Sort of a semi-rollout, Don. It was just a quick down-and-out pattern. It looked like a zone defense almost, where the receiver just hooked up in that dead spot, and the ball was laid right there. Scott Hunter's throwing the ball well.
He is. He has played well. They got the great young player who's right now sidelined with the injury, Bartkowski, but he will be back this season. He's throwing and working out daily and throwing well. Pasco stand back, turns wide. He has the option of going out or back in, and he cut back and got yardage. And let's watch the blocking on replay.
Here's a shot on Tommy Hart right now, number 53, playing right along the line of scrimmage. He sort of gets laid away right there.
Big Jim Mitchell puts him on the ground.
Mr. Mitchell
on him. Make sure he's down. Set on him. Second down and 5 now for the Falcons. Ball at the 40-yard line. Stand back. Cuts ahead for a couple of yards. A lot of tough yards. Stand back, a durable back, getting a lot of work.
I'll tell you, when you're a back, though, you like to run the ball that much, because here's the opportunity that you have to get some scores. You know, you get that yardage. You want to get up there.
How about physically? Do you get warmed up, or does it start to wear you down?
I tell you, you're hurting on Monday, but you don't think about it during the game day.
How many times the most you ever carried for the Colts?
I think I carried 28 times in one ball game. That was the most.
Mike Esposito, who went out with the sprained ankle, apparently got well in a hurry. He was back in to carry the football there. But it was a third down. It's going to be short of the first down. We're going to see John James come out. We are. Fourth down, so James again will be angling to the corners. He's been a big reason the 49ers have not been on the board. They've moved the ball well on occasion, long drives, but James punting has started them off so far in the hole. No, James is going to hold now. Mickemeyer is going to try. This can be a 54-yard field goal attempt. Now the 49ers call a timeout using one of their 3 allotted timeouts.
This is where you can't make these kind of mistakes. You know, if it's going to be a close ball game, you're going to come down to the line. You can't have I'll call it a stupid timeout like this, because the ball players should know when they're supposed to be in there and under the circumstances. This is a big mistake. You need those timeouts, especially towards the end of the ball game when you're trying to stop that clock.
Don't forget, next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time, the CBS Sports Spectacular, the $300,000 Jockey Club Gold Cup Thoroughbred Race from New York. World-class gymnastic competition with gold medalists like Nellie Kim and Nadia Comaneci from Tokyo. And the World's Strongest Men competition, that's next Saturday at 4:30 on the CBS Sports Spectacular. We have 8 minutes and 4 seconds left to play in the third quarter here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. The Atlanta Falcons, a team that one writer called the worst team in football. They've shown themselves to be a whole lot better than that, looking for their third win. Right now, the Falcons are making a shift, and they're going to send James back into punt formation. The reason the 49ers called a timeout, they weren't looking for a 54-yard field goal attempt, and they didn't have their rush unit in there, and they wanted to be sure they had the right people in. Now they're dropping back Leonard. Tony Leonard is a single safety as Lehman Bennett paces the sideline.
Here's an opportunity for the 49ers to really put some pressure on the kicker. Mainly because you don't want to get him in, inside that 10-yard line. And James has been doing such a good job today of dropping that ball, hanging it high, letting it drop down in there. 44 yards and 5 punts. And when you consider the return yardage, he's had as good a day as anybody's going to have. Another high snap. John James fields it. He really puts a charge into it. Again, he hits it to the corner. But that one is going to carry into the end zone for a touchback. And so it will be a first down for the 49ers at their 20-yard line. You can see the extension of his foot there and the height of the ball. This is fantastic. The hang time is unbelievable. This is one of the things that coaches look for, because it gives the coverage enough time to get down there to stop their run backs.
That 18-ounce football weighs about 15 pounds coming down from that high. Timeout. No score. No, they're going to go right back to action. So the San Francisco 49ers come out of the huddle, still working with second-year man Scott Bull at quarterback after Jim Plunkett was shaken up. Hand off, straight ahead run, moving the ball out is Bob Farrell. He gets it out close to the 25-yard line. They'll spat it to the 24, 4-yard gain.
Right from the line of scrimmage, you can see the offensive lineman firing out, the back picking his hole and coming up through. If he could have kept his feet there, he could have still been running. Got tripped up. You can see he's a little bit upset about it.
Ken Meyer, the 49er coach, is using a lot of backs. He had Dell Williams and Wilbur Jackson as starters. Hoffer and Farrell have both played a lot. We've not seen Kermit Johnson in there yet. Here is a handoff now. Running with the ball is Paul Hoffer. Turns the corner and is taken down by Rollin Lawrence. Eichendahl was also on the play.
Plunkett, Bull handing off right now. Watch the guard leading the play. Number 69 right here. The back pushing him inside. A great block right there. Cuts him off, cuts to the inside, picks up good yardage, just short of the first down. Third down.
3rd and 1.
Maybe even a little less. This is where you dig down in the trenches and you got to come up and stop them.
The ball is at the 29-yard line. 3rd down and 1 for the San Francisco 49ers as they're sent back into their huddle. Defenses, particularly the defensive line, have controlled this game because neither team has been able to sustain offense very often. And it has been the defensive lines that have stopped the running game. So the 49ers now come out 3rd and 1 at their 29. Scott Bull calls his own number, and it looks like he got there. Jim Bailey stopped, and we could very well have overtime here, Tom. Where they're going.
A 0-0 overtime would be a little tough. Here he goes with the quarterback seek again. You can see as the tackles are taking the outside charge, looking for that short trap play, and the quarterback is just sliding right up in there. And
Kenny Harrison goes out wide to the left. Gene Washington wide right. First down and 10 for the 49ers at their 30. Second back through is Hoffer. He really takes off and goes.
He's got a good quick start. I'm surprised that they don't use him more, although when you got two backs like Williams and Jackson in there that had almost 2,000 yards combined last year.
Denver's tearing up Kansas City. Denver's got some kind of defense. They're getting some offense today.
23-0 right now. Red Miller, who used to be an assistant coach of the Baltimore Colts, went up to Boston, is now head coach there, and he's one of these real fire-em-up kind of guys.
Second down and 7. Here is the handoff, and running with the ball again is Hoffer, and this time he's caught by Fulton Kuykendall and knocked down. Kuykendall, Ortega, and Brazina backing the line for the Falcons with Merrill, Lewis, Bailey, and Humphrey, the defensive front four.
The fans are getting a little upset with the conservative offense that the 49ers are putting together here. They want to see some action. They want to see something happening.
Well, they got non-conservative once early when they tried that out pattern, and Rollin Lawrence ran into the end zone for what he thought was a touchdown. Henry Marker took that away. 3rd down and 6 now. Let's see if Scott Bull fires it up. 4-man rush, no blitz. Zone defense, holding penalty against the San Francisco 49ers as Mr. Humphrey was coming full speed and somebody grabbed him and threw him down. Hold against the 49ers. On the incomplete pass, the Falcons might decline it and take the punt.
I think they will. It's a 4th down situation right now. They're going to take the ball.
Holding. 71. Offense. Decline. 4th down.
It is declined, and so now the 49ers will punt the ball back to Atlanta. 5:01 left to play. Back deep is Rollin Lawrence. He's got to be saying to himself, I'm about due. Next week, the Falcons play at Buffalo. The Bills are 0-4, and there's speculation there could be a coaching change there, although O.J. went over 100 yards for the first time this season today. Gained 122 in a loss to the Jets. Winning total block. And then, if the ball is fielded, Edgar Fields was the man apparently who blocked the punt. It was caught in the air by Billy Rickman, who the Falcon coaches say has the greatest hands they've ever seen in a football player.
Here's the rush again. They're all coming out. Big number 77 gets those arms up there, blocks it, just tips it up.
Edgar Fields got it. He blocked it, and Billy Rickman took it, and so the Falcons have the ball at the 40 of the 49ers.
Wherever you may roam, you'll find our name is known. You can trust a Delco.
Thanks, Delco.
Delco Freedom Battery. When things are getting thick and you want to start real quick, you can trust a Delco.
Thanks, Delco.
Delco Freedom Battery. They've got the stuff when the starting's tough. You can trust a Delco.
Thanks, Delco.
Delco Freedom Battery. Delco Freedom.
Thanks, Delco.
When do you think Budweiser?
After a good bout on the lake with the water ski.
In about 2 minutes. And that's about, what, 120 seconds?
When do you say Budweiser?
When I'm fishing and when I finish fishing.
Right after I finish painting this van.
Whatever I can. On a hot day like today.
Before I go to bed.
When you say Budweiser,
Budweiser.
you said it all.
Jim Plunkett still on the sidelines, where he's been since the second quarter after the Falcons got him on a heavy rush. Bruised ribs is the diagnosis. He could play again, but they'd like to keep him out if they can. And apparently it's a pretty severely bruised rib, because they're going with a backup quarterback in a tie game. Here's a touchdown throw. Touchdown Atlanta. Alfred Jenkins on a circus catch. The very lovely hands of Alfred Jenkins.
My goodness, and right off the deflection, number 42.
Touchdown throw.
Tony Leonard was right there, knocked the ball, knocked it up in the air. He grabbed it for 6 points.
Jenkins had the defense beaten. The ball hung a little bit there. Oh, boy, that guy can get up in the air. But he plays volleyball with it, does Ralph McGill. And Alfred Jenkins very nicely says thank you. Except that.
I'd gone over and shake his hand for that one.
Thank you so very much. So now we have a 6-0 ball game. Atlanta's in the lead. That would come under their basic spectacular category.
The old alley-oop.
The extra point is drilled up and through by Mickemeyer. And so we have 4:45 left. Look at this. 4:45 left to play in the third quarter. And now all of a sudden the tie is broken and the Falcons lead 7-0. Play. Oh.
One step closer.
One step closer.
One step closer. That's what Exxon people say. One step closer. At the end of every day, Exxon's dedicated to finding energy for you. Energy for a stronger America.
Hi, ever need to rent a car fast? Watch. Hertz, #1 club number 21586, arriving San Diego at 2 p.m. on RAL Flight 9. Returning it there tomorrow. Okay, thanks. That's all there is to it. When you're in the #1 club, nobody makes renting a car faster or easier than the Superstar. Even before you get there, your car is pre-assigned, your forms filled out. So rent a Ford fast from Hertz, the Superstar in rent-a-car.
Ralph McGill had the opportunity here to make the big play, but it goes off of his fingertips. And Mr. Jenkins is going to come back here and say thank you. 6 points.
Those are those tip drills they work with. We just get a finger on the ball. And so the Falcons make it work. Alfred Jenkins, he had the defense beaten soundly, and then the ball. That was really a spectacular play by McGill just to get up in the air and get his hands on the ball.
Should have been in the Olympics in the high jump on that.
He didn't quite have all of it, though, and Alfred Jenkins ultimately did, and so it's a 7-0 game, and now the wind at Candlestick blows the ball. Well, that's a pretty good wind we got going now. I think they got a Mexican bean in that ball. It's not blowing that hard. It would keep rolling, is it?
That's just that turf. Helps it slide along.
It might be rolling downhill. The gentleman moving in now to hold the football.
Bucks are killing him. Here it is. He's coming right up the sideline. In the bottom of your screen here, you'll see it. Coming up right there. Number 82 is getting clipped. It was sort of a close call there. Sometimes you can make them look like clips, too.
Yeah, right.
Personal foul.
That's a very good point. They talk about
55 on the run back. First down.
the call is against Bruce Elia, an Ohio State linebacker. Sorry about that, Tom. Buckeyes occasionally have a... There's Kenny Myers. That's a very good point you brought up, though, about faking on the clip. They talk about punters swooning, but guys will be blocked and they'll spin off, so it looks like a clip. Scott Full takes a look, puts it up. Ooh, he had the man open. Coming out of the backfield was Bob Farrell. Hand on the ball, but it's incomplete. Really, right now, the Falcon defense has taken control of this game.
It sure has. And here's a play that was right there, was where both Farrell and Tom Mitchell were in the same zone area. What it should be is that the halfback should be coming out in a shallower pattern, that the tight end is clearing it out for him, and he takes a deeper pattern. They hit on this pass earlier in the game and had picked up yardage, but it was to the short man.
So now it is second down and 10 for the San Francisco 49ers at their 10-yard line. First back through is Farrell. He's got open field. But Bias runs him down. A big play by Rick Bias, starting at one corner out of Wayne State. Starting at the right corner for Frank Reed. And, boy, I'll tell you one thing. If Bias had been beaten on that, Farrell would have gone a long way.
He could add some running room down that sideline.
Now the San Francisco 49ers go to a three tight end alignment. They bring out both their wide receivers. They have Mitchell in, Paul Seal is in, and they send John Ayers in to set up on one side. 3rd and 2. Hoffer didn't get there. The Atlanta defense again shuts it down. Jeff Murrah and Fulton Kuykendall make the big play for the Falcons. And so, Atlanta will get the ball back on a punt.
The fans are starting to get a little bit disgruntled with the conservatism of the San Francisco 49ers. There's another ideal opportunity where we could have had the quarterback had the opportunity to hit a back with a flare back coming out there. Send your men deep. Try to hit those short guys. Get that first down. Keep the ball moving.
That was Rylan Lawrence. You saw dropping back, number 22, back deep again for the Falcons as Tom Whittem is back inside his 5-yard line for the 49ers. Here's the snap, a line drive punt. Lawrence will bring it back, crosses the 50, and is down at the 47-yard line. Down to make the play on special teams for San Francisco is Eddie Lewis, number 22. Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time, the CBS Sports Spectacular, the Jockey Club Gold Cup from New York. A $300,000 race over a mile and a half for some of the nation's top 3-year-olds. And then gymnastic competition from Tokyo, Japan. The highlights of the acclaimed competition at Chunichi. Nadia Comaneci of Romania. 3-time Olympic gold medalists will be competing. You also see the world's strongest men competition. Pitch back. Haskell Stenback is cut down. Stenback is stopped for no gain. Making the play was Cleveland Elam for the San Francisco 49ers as the third quarter is winding down to 2:35. Falcons 7, 49ers nothing.
You know, it's interesting, Don, that this has been just a great defensive ball game if you're a defensive coach. And one play has been the difference, and it was a play that was just lucky. It bounced off the guy's fingertips.
Defense looked to be good on the pass coverage, but it was off the hands of McGill and into one hand of Alfred Jenkins for a touchdown. Scott Hunter wants to burn him again. He lets it rip out there. Whoa, Wallace Francis had his hands on the football, but lost it. Tony Leonard took it away, knocked it away. Very nearly a big gainer as Hunter was right on the numbers. Here you are, Tom.
I think this just throws his arm off a little bit, and the ball is thrown right there. It's just behind him a little bit. If he'd have kept him running, he had it. He could have probably gone in for the touch.
Yeah, a little bit longer. It would have been 6.
Scott's, up until right then, he was 4 for 8, so he's hit that 50% mark. He's throwing the ball well. That one was just a little bit behind.
And running hard is Monroe Ely. Puts his head down. These Falcons play tough, grinded out football. They did not get there on the third down play. And with 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter, they send their punting unit out. And John James, who's been a vital part of the Atlanta Falcon offense, because he has put the San Francisco team in the hole time and again. And when they've punted it back, the Falcons have come out with good field position because of James' punts.
Looks like San Francisco is now going to be coming for the rush here. Well, they're spreading out. No, maybe not. James is just a great punter. He led the league last year. He's doing another great job.
He's terrific. Not Benny White. Everybody's entitled to one sour one. He just got his.
You say something nice and look what happens about somebody.
Tom, I know a show that you enjoy. Logan's Run starts tomorrow night on Monday night here on CBS. It takes you to the outer reaches of the universe for mind-bending adventure every week. It's Monday night at 8, 7 Central Time, 7 Mountain Time. Logan's Run here on CBS.
Don, that's a takeoff on that Star Wars, and my kids absolutely think it's the greatest program in the world.
It is a good show. First and 10. Let's see if Scott Poole starts to fire away. 1:27 to go in the third quarter. Scott Poole looking at first down throws. Here come the Falcons. And down goes Scott Poole. Well, I'll give one guy credit for the sack, but the whole Falcon front four and that linebacker who also came, Ortega, the middle linebacker, Mike Lewis and Claude Humphrey were the first men through. Everybody gets credit for that, in my opinion.
Well, that's for sure. That's their third sack today, too. They're keeping this thing going. They've got that defensive momentum going for them. They're putting that pressure on. The crowd's calling for Plunkett. They want to see some actions. Nothing happened. Don't take anything away from that Falcon defense. They're playing a great ball game again.
This is a difficult time for Kenny Meyer, head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. His team finished 1-5 in the preseason, and now they're behind after losing their first 3 games of the regular season. The pressure is indeed on a very nice man with a problem at the moment. Here is a pitch up the middle. The ball is caught. Kenny Harrison, no, they ruled he got it on the one hop.
I thought that looked good to me. I don't know.
Good to me, too. We'll see.
Here's Scott setting up. I think it was a good, fair catch. He's going down on it.
Nope. I tell you that replay tells you some
I'll tell you one
pictures.
thing. That official's there looking at it. You could see him looking down at it. He probably saw it better than I did.
Now the Falcons go to 5 defensive backs. That replay tells you so much about this game, doesn't it?
It sure does. You don't know. You can call him up here, but you can't call him down there.
3rd and 16 now for Scott Poole. And here come the Falcons. The front four coming. Oh, man. Wilson Famuina was the first guy through, and then Claude Humphrey. Let's watch Claude Humphrey on instant replay.
One of the all-time great defensive ends right here. The rush, break around the outside, beats his man.
Heath Fonhorst with the Matador blocking.
He comes in, lays him down real nice and pretty. Williams going to come up with a big punt, or Atlanta's going to be back in that great field position again.
And they're starting to chant, "We want Monty," meaning Monty Clark. Snap, hit, line drive punt again. Here comes Robin Lawrence. Penalty marker for a clip, another one, 3 down.
Well, they figured if you're going to get 1, you might as well get 3.
Might as well pick somebody off any way you can.
We'll wait for the call here, and then we're going to have the opportunity to see the clip. This is the kind of coverage that I like to have up here. It really shows you what's happening in a ball game.
The officials are going to confer here briefly to make sure everything is in order. Jerry Markbright, the referee. We have a 7-0 game on the board. It was 0-0 at the half. The Atlanta Falcons scoring on a long pass play. The ball was tipped by a 49er defender, Ralph McGill, and caught one-handed by Alfred Jenkins in the end zone.
Personal foul, clipping, 77 on the run back. First down.
Number 77, Edgar Fields, was the guilty party.
Here it is right here. There he is.
There's
right
Edgar.
there. Big man. He takes 2 of them out.
Yep, got all of them. Only 4 seconds to play now. Hunter goes to the run, hands off, and taking the ball straight ahead is Haskell Standback.
Don, we have another flag down here again. Looks like another holding penalty.
Now we have a fan out in the field trying to get a football.
Motion.
Here's a fan coming out in the field doing his best to get himself a National Football League souvenir. He is quickly apprehended by one of the officials. Goodness gracious, he's taken down a security officer, and now I think we have the clamps coming out. This is what is a disappointment of everybody involved. People cheer this, and some other equally dimwit comes out and does it next week.
I'll tell you one thing. It's not needed. You come here as a spectator to watch a game. You don't need that kind of action.
Didn't take long to take care of him. Now the gun sounds. That is the end of the third quarter. The gun sounds. That is the end of the third quarter with the score. The Atlanta Falcons 7, the San Francisco 49ers nothing. And we now pause for a word from your local station.
If you're taking Valium, you could end up taking a bad trip. Find out why on 60 Minutes tonight on CBS.
This is Don Criqui with Tom Natty back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. We're ready now to open the fourth quarter. And as you see the count, 7-0. The Falcons in the lead on the touchdown pass, Hunter to Jenkins. Tom?
An interesting note this third quarter, San Francisco's offense netted a -8 yards, which, you know, that's unheard of.
Apparently one of the officials was shaken up, wrestling down the would-be theft of the football. That is the penalty story. Falcons with 11. They're not happy about that. They certainly are at the bottom line. They lead 7-0, and they're going to be very tough to score on because their defense is getting tougher and tougher as the game wears on. This team goes to camp in the heat and humidity of an August in South Carolina, and they come out of there in pretty darn good condition.
You're darn right it is. But this weather is the kind of weather you like to play in, Don. It's got the it's cool out there. There's a breeze. You're working up a good sweat, but yet it's still the kind of weather that's ideal. It reminds me of the old fall days back at Ohio State where it's nice and crisp and cool. It's bright and sunny. Sometimes that works as a disadvantage, especially looking back.
Next week, the fifth weekend of action. Lots more regional action in National Football League play. The Falcons go to Buffalo to play the Bills and O.J. Simpson. Green Bay is at Detroit. The Cardinals and the Eagles meet up at Philadelphia. And you'll see San Francisco out in this area going against the New York Giants. Chicago plays at Minnesota. Washington at Dallas. New Orleans at Los Angeles. And Tampa Bay at Seattle. National Football League action. Top games all season long here on CBS. First and 15. A double reverse. Wallace Francis has the ball. He's got blockers. And all of that resulted in about 3 yards lost. Cedric Hardman and Dave Washington shut it down.
Again, here's Scott handing off. It's the old reverse play. Quarterback going leading around. Hands it back. No place to go, though, over here. San Francisco reads it very well. The little guy with the ball ain't going to go no place very far with that. Oh, there's Mr. Plunkett again, kneeling on the sideline. They're calling for him, too. They want him back in that ball game. They may need someone just like that to come in and get that 49er team going.
Scott Bull with a wing formation now. One setback behind him. Scott Hunter, one setback. Haskell Standback. And Standback runs the ball across the 40 and is cut out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. Atlanta looking to power it out and run the clock. That time the out-of-bounds stopped it with 14 minutes. Ball is out to the 42-yard line.
You know, the thing that's interesting about that Atlanta team now, they've only had 19 points scored on them so far this year. That's 4 ball games. That's fantastic.
This is really an astounding turnabout, and it has to be credited to the whole organization from Eddie LeBaron right on through Lehman Bennett. Had a good draft. They've got a real football team together here. These guys are tough. 3rd and 7. Hunter takes a look, puts it up. Oh, what a reception by Wallace Francis for a first down at the 42-yard line of the San Francisco 49ers.
Here we'll watch number 53, Tommy Hart. And Mr. Bryant, this is some kind of a combination going. Mr. Mitchell drives him back, or Mr. Bryant, I'm sorry, drives him back to the inside.
He is full grown.
He's
Warren
a big,
Bryant.
big man.
6'6", 270. He's taking all pros, knocking it down. That's what they say about those offensive tackles. They remain anonymous, but so do the defensive ends playing across from him. And off to Haskell, stand back, broke the cross, hit at the line of scrimmage, and then he sprinted away. Cleveland Elam got it, and then Haskell Stanback ran it down to the 35-yard line as the Falcons quietly, conservatively are taking complete control of this football game. The defense has completely shut down the 49ers in the second half, and the offense is controlling the ball and moving those chain markers.
Well, you know, that was the game plan of the coach. He says, let's eat up that clock. The first half, although San Francisco had more plays, the second half, Atlanta is just dominating the game.
Falcons lead 7-0 in the fourth quarter. Handoff to Monroe Ely coming from the wingback. Here's the penalty marker down.
That only means one thing, another holding penalty coming up on Atlanta.
That'll stop the clock with 12:18 to play in the game. So the Falcons huddle up. They have had problems with their penalties. Scott Hunter has thrown the ball 10 times in this game. He has hit 5 for 98 yards and a touchdown, and throughout this entire season he's not been intercepted.
70, offense, second down.
Dave Scott called for his second hold of this game. Left guard. Ryzik's the center. Scott and Thielman the guards. Adams and Bryant the tackles for Atlanta. Mitchell's the tight end. Jenkins and Francis are the wide receivers. Haskell, Stanback, and Monroe Ely are the setbacks aligned in the eye. Stanback the second back. Play fake. Hunter looks, puts it out. Ball is caught. Monroe Ely swinging out, caught the ball. He'll be down at about the 30, about the foot at the 40-yard line. Tom?
The thing that's interesting about the way Scott Hunter is throwing the ball, Woody Hayes used to have an old philosophy. He says, when you throw the ball, there's 3 things can happen. 2 are bad. And I think that's a philosophy that Atlanta's having right now.
Well, when you're in a tight game like this and you got the 7-point lead and the defense is playing the way it is, they can be content to control the ball. 3rd down and 9 now for Atlanta. In the fourth quarter, Falcons lead 7-0. Hunter takes a look. Puts it up. First down, yardage. Stanback swinging out of the backfield. Catches the ball at the 28 and goes down to the 25. Tommy Hart and Warren Bryant are really having a fight.
Here's Tommy Hart again making the rush. Bryant is just doing a fantastic job. Look at this. I mean to tell you, for a rookie, he's doing a great job. This is the kind of play that is dominating the game at the line of scrimmage. This is why it's a great. This is where it happens. Right down there in the trenches. Well, I'll tell you.
Right down in the dirt. Nobody gets the uniform dirty on this stuff, but they are playing football. Here is Stanback on a slant coming up the middle down to the 22-yard line. It'll be second down now coming up for Atlanta as they are starting to mount a challenge for yet a second score. They lead the game 7-0 in the fourth quarter, scored on a pass play from Hunter to Alfred Jenkins in the third quarter. There was no scoring in the first 2 quarters as Lehman Bennett chewing on that gum.
You know, here's where San Francisco's got to reach down in and grab themselves and bring themselves together right now. The defense has been playing a great ball game. Made one mistake. Now they got to dig in here and stop Atlanta.
Haskell Stanback looks to turn the corner, and he's thrown down to the 25-yard line. Coming up with Mel Phillips, the strong safety.
They reached down that grab bag and made the good play.
3rd down coming up, 3rd and long. Stanback's gained 51 yards and 20 carries.
That's a lot of work for anybody in one afternoon. Just 20 carries getting hit.
This Atlanta team doesn't give you anything. They don't turn the football over. They don't give you big plays. 3rd down and 11 now. Let's see. Alfred Jenkins is on the left. Francis is on the right. Double coverage on both. Hunter looks. Jim Mitchell has the ball. He's going to be cut down short of a first down. So that reception down to the 17-yard line sets up a pretty direct hit for the field goal man, Nick Mickemeyer. He's coming out.
Mickemeyer had a little bit of problem last week up in New York with field goals. He missed 3 of them up there, which could ice that game real early in the ball game for him. So he's got some pressure on him too.
John James will hold. The ball will be set down at the 24-yard line. 10 more into the end zone. There's a slight wind blowing into Mickemeier's kick. But it is almost a straight down attempt, as you see. Got it up. Hits the crossbar. You can practice for a long time and not be able to do that, but he just did it.
Oh, boy.
It is an automatic touchback as soon as it hit the upright and bounced back the other way. Watch it. Touchback. 49ers have the ball.
Excuse me, do they serve clams here?
No, and they don't serve turkeys either.
Pardon, monsieur. It's your clothes. You'd look better in Hager slacks. Or a Hager sport coat and slacks. Even a Hager vested suit. A variety of outfits at prices that are easy to swallow. Voilà, monsieur. Table for one?
Make that a table for two.
Hager, because looking good makes you feel good.
When life's grind gets to you.
Go Mustang!
Mustang.
Let a Mustang take you away.
This is a great time to go Mustang because this year Mustang 2 is base sticker price less than last year.
Mustang.
The 78 Ford Mustang 2 T-Roof convertible.
Go Mustang!
So beat the grind. Go Mustang. A better idea from Ford.
Edith and Archie get a motel room. Sunday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
What are you doing that for?
I don't want them to think there's anything wrong with us. Go on.
With Tom Matty, this is Don Cricky back at Candlestick Park. The San Francisco 49ers trail the Atlanta Falcons 7-0. We have 9:26 to play in the game. 49ers in red with the football at their 20. Delvin Williams turns the corner and rips it open. Delvin Williams has open field. And finally, Bias knocks him out of bounds all the way out of the 48. This isn't over yet, Tom.
I'll tell you, it sure isn't. It's something to get excited about, and there was no flag either. I'll tell you, that missed field goal could have rejuvenated the 49ers a little bit. You know, Bull Scott is only 1 for 7 for 12 yards this half, and the 49ers in the second half of the ball game have only had 1 first down.
Big game at Busch Stadium, St. Louis, and the Cardinals holding to a 1-point lead. 17-16, third quarter. It is first down and 10 now for the San Francisco 49ers at their 47. Scott Bull is looking long. He puts it up. Gene Washington's open. The ball is overthrown. Washington had the defense beaten soundly.
I mean to tell you, he was by. Another penalty, another holding penalty against San Francisco. Every time they get started to get something mounted, boom, they make that big mistake.
Gene Washington now in his 9th year from Stanford. He was the receiving end of a lot of Jim Plunkett passes. They were there together. Plunkett was a sophomore when Washington was a senior. Washington started out there as a quarterback. Got to turn a switch on, I think. Gene Barrett is called for holding. Left tackle. Washington leads Tampa Bay 10-0. Some people around the league say Tampa Bay's got one of the better defenses in the NFL. They just don't have any offense.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Washington better get back on track pretty soon. They've lost a couple ball games. They've got to do something pretty quick.
Leroy Selman tears people up. I guess he is something. Scott Bull, timing pattern. Now he runs out of the pocket. Clyde Humphreys after him. So is Kuykendall, and that's the man who knocked him out of bounds. Fulton Kuykendall, who had a big game up in this area at Palo Alto, playing against Stanford for UCLA. He had 17 unassisted tackles. Denver and Kansas City is heading south very quickly this season. They're going to be 0-4 after this day. Denver with a 23-0 lead in the fourth quarter. Denver's one team that might mount a challenge against Oakland because they got a defense that's just about as tough.
They're a hungry and aggressive ball.
Boy, they are.
The coach out there, Red Miller, really does fire you up. He's one of these rah-rah, sis-boom-bah guys, but he gets a job done.
Jim Plunkett now with his jacket on, apparently resigned to the fact he'll not enter this game despite his team being down 7-0. Sustained bruised ribs in the second quarter. Scott Bull, a 6'5" thrower from Arkansas, guns the ball downfield, and had not the Falcon defender lost his footing, Ray Brown lost his footing, he'd have intercepted.
Again, The pressure's really being put on Scott Bull. Here he comes out here again. Sets up. And just as he lets that ball go, boy, that should have been an interception. You don't slip on this turf out here. He's up and running down the sideline.
2 49ers are now out of the game for the rest of the day. Bob Farrell, a running back, injured an ankle, and one of the young linebackers, a special teams player, was injured. Dale Mitchell on a kick coverage. He suffered a knee injury, so he'll not play again today. 9:01 to play. It is 3rd and 19, and the Falcon front four is teeing off, and here they come. Bull gets it away. The ball is caught and lost by Paul Seal.
Paul Seal took his eye off of it. He was afraid he was going to get hit.
Yes, he was. And there was a guy sneaking up to really kiss him, too. Ron Lawrence.
The footsteps. Pitter-patter.
There's Lawrence.
Right in his numbers.
Ooh,
right in his numbers. He should catch that ball. There's no reason for that. That's that old adage, you got to catch that ball before you can run with it. Look it into your hands and then turn. I heard that so many times. The most embarrassing thing was you do that and try to come back to the huddle with Unitas sometime. Boy, you got your head down. You don't even want to look at that man.
John would jump on you, wouldn't he?
Oh, he was tough.
All the good ones were. They say Bart Starr, you didn't want to come back to that huddle either after you blew one. Rollin Lawrence with a Willie Mays catch. They played so many seasons here at Candlestick Park, and down goes Rollin Lawrence at the 18-yard line. Jim Obradovich comes down on special teams for the 49ers, and the Falcons go on offense 1st and 10. And so we have a pause in the action here at Candlestick Park as the Atlanta Falcons, their defense controlling the game, continue to lead 7-0.
Are you still chained to? Gotcha. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor lets you walk away, free from nicks and cuts. Its 36 surgical steel rotary razor blades are safely protected inside 3 floating heads to give you a comfortable shave that's razor close, razor smooth, for up to 3 weeks on a single charge. The rechargeable Norelco rotary razor. It lets you walk away from gotcha.
Should have bought Mobile One. The oil that saves you gas, you know.
Should have bought Mobile One. Helps you start at 35 below.
Should have bought Mobile One. Engine temperature hits 500. You're cool.
Should have bought Mobile One. You only change it every 15,000 miles.
Mobile One, the oil that does it all. Take it from an expert.
We're back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco as the Falcons have back the ball. San Francisco having its problems now as they're close to an 0-4 start this season, and the Falcons coming off the off-season last year, to say the very least. They were 4-10, looking for their 3rd victory in 4 weeks. They almost beat Washington. Monroe Ely runs the ball out. They're looking to control the game. The Falcons' best year ever was 1973, when they finished with a 9-5 record under Norm Van Brocklin. And then they tailed off since then. 1974, they slipped to 3-11, and a coaching change was made. 4-10 in 75, 4-10 in 76, and now things look like could be a winning ball game.
They've got some momentum going for them.
Haskell stand back, cutting back up to the 25-yard line. He'll be 4 yards short of a first down. Vanderbunt, the middle linebacker, made the stop.
There was a great force play by Mel Phillips. Came up from the halfback position, force a play, and Haskell I think he got a little bump on the head. I mean, Paul Hopper.
You can get those in this game, can't you?
They sure can.
But the young men seem to enjoy it, grabbing each other. They're so big now, and so strong, the young men. Oh, we had what do we have? A keeper by Scott Hunter. Might have been a misplay and a free football.
And a flag. It's just a slow handoff by the center, it looks like, Don, and then quarterback had only one thing to do with to keep it, cover up and go forward. It almost looked like one of the better offensive plays.
The 49ers have a total of 47 yards in the entire second half on offense, all of it rushing. They don't have a yard passing.
Well, you combine that with their first half statistics of 128 total yards. That's not too much offense.
Only offenses counts is that bottom line, those points. They have none. 3rd down and 9 now coming up for Atlanta. Scott Hunter sends wide receivers out to either side. He gets time. He puts it up. The ball is caught. Haskell stand back. Rashes out to the 30-yard line, and he has a first down for Atlanta.
Don, I think that's still right there. That play right there coming out of the backfield is the best play in football today. It's an isolation on a halfback on the linebacker. He comes out. He can go inside or outside. He freezes that man. He breaks it to the outside. And you're going to consistently get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 yards in there. And every once in a while you break a tackle and you go down the sideline.
Willie Harper was barely on the screen. He was beaten.
That kept me in the league for 12 years, that little play.
Mono Ely working his way up the middle, gets out across the 30, close to the 32. The Falcons now looking to run that clock, and they're doing it as it winds down to 6:45 left in the game. Atlanta 7, San Francisco nothing. At Candlestick Park in San Francisco, the temperature has now dropped into the mid-60s. It is still a clear, sunshiny day. Certainly not for the 49ers, as they are off to quite possibly an 0-4 start. The only touchdown of this game was on a spectacular play, so until the final gun sounds, we could have another. Either way. Pitch back, Mike Esposito. Cut down at the 33-yard line.
That's good defensive play by the 49ers right there.
Final scores coming in now. The Eagles win their second game against 2 defeats. The Giants move to 1-3 on the season. The Jets with another upset victory today, beating Buffalo 24-19 following a win over New England.
They are for real.
How about Oakland? We know they're for real.
Well, I know they're for real.
Cleaned up at Cleveland, 26-10. Other scores coming in from around the league. We have New England with the 2 offensive linemen, Leon Gray and John Hanna back in the lineup, shutting out Seattle 31-0. It is 7-0 Atlanta here at San Francisco. Falcons have the ball. 3rd down and 7 coming up. Hunter goes to the draw play, and running with the football is Esposito. He's going to be very close to a first down.
Looks like he's got that first down. Good call. Looking for the pass. 3rd and long yardage.
He has it. Minnesota has won again. The Vikings move to 3-1. Detroit is now a 2-2 team following the Vikings' 14-7 win today. Tarkinen throwing almost 40 passes in that game. Cincinnati, having a tough start, is now 2-2 following a 17-7 win over the Packers at Milwaukee. Baltimore trailing Miami at one point 28-10, comes back to win 45-28. Esposito is shut down right at the line of scrimmage. Vanderbunt came in to hit him. Esposito was cut and called back and cut and called back.
He just keeps hanging in there. I'll tell you, Haskell went off limping a little while ago there, so I don't know. Something might be wrong with him. He's walking over there on the sideline. He hasn't been back in.
You get a lot of ankles here at artificial turf field. Look at that upset. Houston beats Pittsburgh. Both teams lost their quarterback. We don't know for how long. In fact, both Pittsburgh quarterbacks were injured. Bradshaw went out with a wrist injury, and Kruzek also is injured. Pastorini might have broken an ankle for Houston. San Diego shut out New Orleans 14-0. That's not a bad football team.
I'll tell you, that team has come a long way. 14-0. What are they, 3-1 now?
They're 3-1 now. Shut out by Oakland in the opener. They started to come back. Beat Cincinnati last week. Beat New Orleans at New Orleans this week. 2nd down and 10 for the Atlanta Falcons. 4:24 left to go in the game. Falcons lead 7-0. On 2nd and 10, there's a gain, maybe 3 yards. In the 4th quarter, it is Washington holding to a 10-0 lead over Tampa Bay. The Redskins looking for their 3rd win of the season. At St. Louis, the Cardinals win. Game they have to win. Just scored on Charlie Davis, running back a 47-yard fumble recovery. Staubach fumble, and Charlie Davis, a defensive tackle from Colorado, ran it back for a touchdown. 3rd and 7 Atlanta. 49ers shut down the run. Denver leading 23-0 over Kansas City at Mile High Stadium in Denver, where 77,000 are gathered. They make some noise out there, and they've got reason to this year. Dropping deep is Tony Leonard. This is John James, number 6, back to punt now for the Atlanta Falcons. 3:08 to play, and the clock running. Falcons lead 7-0. Rysick with the snap. Another good punt. Lofting a spiral downfield. Leonard gets the ball. Here comes Moriarty. Ran by him. And the Falcons with good special teams play consistently the afternoon. Pennywell, a linebacker from Grambling, 59, was on the stop. And so we have a pause in the action as the 49ers are now very much in need of a big play, trailing 7-0.
Where does your money go after you put it in your bank? Well, some of it's right here. Building your neighborhood, construction loans and home mortgages. But also with municipal bonding, money for your public parks, and money for your schools. Today, America's banks have over $80 billion invested in communities like yours. So if you believe in your community, there's no better place to put your money than your bank. America's bankers, helping you change things for the better.
Hey, Schlitz wants you to have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word.
Hey, now's the time to pick up plenty of Schlitz.
Pass the word, pass the word, pass the word.
Because the Schlitz football offer is here. Look for this display at participating stores and save up to $5 on an official Wilson football. Come on.
Pick up Schlitz and have a ball. Pass the word, pass the word, pass the Schlitz.
This is Don Criqui with Tom Matty back at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. You see the time superimposed there. 2:48 to play in the game. The Falcons on defense leading 7-0. In the clock, Seal makes the reception. But right there to make the hard hit is the big safety Ray Brown out of West Texas State. Drafted in the 6th round back in 1971, Brown has made a lot of big hits here today. The one thing you notice about this Falcon defense, Tom, they're always in position. They're never beaten with somebody way out of position.
They're not making that big mistake at all, and they just keep hanging in there. They're playing as a unit. They're playing as a team, and this is one of the things that the coach wanted to get across to them is the only way we're going to win is by playing like a team.
Swing pass intended for Seal is a little too high. Falcon attendance has been off. I think it's going to be up very shortly. Georgia's a great football state, always has been. Right from the Dogs in Athens to the Jackets in Atlanta to the Falcons. 2:09 left to go in this game now.
I think with the new organization Atlanta has right now, with under the leadership of Rankin Smith, letting Eddie LeBaron take a bigger role in it, I think this team is going to come around.
Look ahead. An end zone look at Scott Paul in the rush against him. He figures it out. And the ball rolls away. So that stops the clock with 2:05 to play in the game. And now it brings up 4th down for San Francisco, and they're keeping their offense in. They have to go for the first down. These are tough times at San Francisco. They will indeed change here, just as they've changed at Atlanta. Right now, this team close to an 0-4 start.
Now, here again, this is where an experienced quarterback comes in. With 5 seconds left to go before the 2-minute clock, why call a timeout?
That's their second timeout. You recall they took one they really shouldn't have had earlier.
Right.
The CBS Sports Spectacular next Saturday here on CBS at 4:30 Eastern Time features the Jockey Club Gold Cup Thoroughbred Race, $300,000 race. Also, the Chinichi Cup Gymnastics Competition featuring Nadia Comaneci of Romania and Nellie Kim of the Soviet Union. And you'll also see some of the competition, the World's Strongest Men. It's next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time.
Did you see, I was watching this World's Strongest Men the other day. And I mean, there are some horses on that thing.
Tough men and steel bars.
I couldn't believe it.
Monday night on CBS, Logan's Run moves to a new time. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central and Mountain. The new show with the Star Wars look, the impact of Star Wars, Logan's Run. That's tomorrow night at a new time, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. here on CBS.
I wonder if Logan will ever find the sanctuary. I'm always wondering what that sanctuary is.
He's out looking. He's working at it. 4th and 4. The game is on the line, and Scott Bull's going to run it, and he has got it. Brazina in pursuit, but Scott Bull calls his own number, and he gets a first down. He had to get it. This game would have been over. The Falcons would have gotten the football. 4th and 4.
Here again is where a quarterback that does have some speed can move to the outside. Good fake, holds that defensive line. He breaks around the outside linebacker, and it's just a race to the corner and the yard marker. And he got it. He got a little bit more. And the other thing that he did here is he got out of bounds, and that stopped the clock.
Right. 1:59 to go. We'll be back in a moment.
Introducing the Ford in your future. The new Ford Fairmont Wagon. A new wagon designed for today and the years ahead. The Fairmont Wagon has excellent mileage ratings, but while it is trim and lean outside, Fairmont has almost 90% of the passenger space of most large wagons, and with the seat down can swallow up all this cargo. Yet for all this, the new Fairmont Wagon, as shown, is actually sticker price less than this little VW Rabbit. Test drive Fairmont, the newest, better idea from the Wagon Master.
I would tell another woman to go into Firestone.
Ask a friend about Firestone, Firestone, Firestone.
This is my car, and I think it's more or less my responsibility. And when when it comes time to changing tires, I'm the one that had to take it in. Well, if someone was to ask me, you know, what tires to get, I would tell them to get Firestone.
Firestone.
We are back to the action. All the great stories that come out of the Atlanta Falcons' storied history through their first 11 seasons. Who can ever forget Raymond Wersching, their Austrian place kicker? There's St. Louis now leading 24-16 in the fourth quarter. Raymond Wersching came out one day on the field with his helmet on backwards. He'd not seen a football helmet. Coach Van Brocklin dismissed him shortly thereafter. Figured this guy doesn't know too much about our game. Swing pass goes to Paul Seal. He is tackled inbounds. He got the first down, but the clock continues to run, and there's also a holding penalty down and a running back down for San Francisco.
I'll tell you, every time they come up with a big play, they get that holding penalty again.
George Bland, who had so many great games across the bay with the Oakland Raiders. When he was a rookie with the Chicago Bears one time, his first game, he was playing against the Los Angeles Rams in a preseason game. He came out, one of the backs forgot the snap count. Blanda went back and gave it to him, and then lined up behind the left guard, Stan Jones. And George barked out that hut, hut, and no snap came. They say they never got the play off, but Stan got a little thrill out of it.
Here's an update on the score here. Tony Dorsett just made a one-yard run that brought Dallas within 1 point of St. Louis, 23-24 right now, fourth quarter.
Scott Bull throws. Oh, the ball is caught by Paul Seal. And he gets out of bounds at the 47-yard line of Atlanta.
And a first down.
And very much so. On a 15-yard gainer. Dallas and the Cardinals, they are locked up. How much? 13-15 left. We got a lot of time. And we'll be joining that game on most of these CBS stations following the conclusion of this one here at San Francisco. With 1:44 left to play here, it is 7-0 Atlanta, but San Francisco's moving the ball down the stretch.
Scott.
The ball is at the 47-yard line of Atlanta. 1st and 10. Scott Bull drops. He throws. Intercepted. Rollin Lawrence has the ball, and he's carrying it like a loaf of bread. And Rollin Lawrence has run out of bounds as he crosses midfield, and so he makes a game-saving play. He assures a Falcon victory. With 1:34 left to go, the Falcons have the ball, 1st and 10.
Here it is again. It's just an overthrow by Scott Bull. Well, I'll tell you one thing. He's going to have some coaching points on carrying that ball, but he finally got some justification for all those little run backs he had before.
Plunkett, of course, went out early in the second quarter with bruised ribs, and they did not bring him back into the game. They've gone with the backup quarterback, Scott Bull. So he's played relatively well against a very tough, tenacious Atlanta Falcon defense, but that was the one play that put the 49ers down for the day, as Scott Hunter is going to run out the clock. And that is the last timeout that the San Francisco 49ers have. They've called 2 earlier, and so the Falcons will go right back into the huddle and probably the same play, number 16 straight ahead.
Here again, where those timeouts could be used, effectively. 2 of them, though, just before the 2-minute clock, he calls a 2-minute timeout. He has a 2:05 left. He could have let the clock run down and had the 2-minute warning.
Our game today was produced by Bob Stenner.
Hooray!
What a young man. So is Tony Verna, our director. The man who invented the instant replay. Associate Director Raymond Ball. The Director of Field Operations, the redoubtable Brooks Graham. The distinguished Jay Fairman was our technical director. And our audio man, Mark Radulovich. It was never in doubt, Mark. I had it.
We had it right on the tip of our tongue. I tell you, it's great to work a game where the coverage is so great and the replays that you can see what's happening. I think, with that instant replay, I think it's brought so much knowledge to the fan that he can see what is happening at the line of scrimmage.
Been a great addition to sports coverage. 1:22 left to play, and the clock is winding down. The 49ers are thwarted. They have no more timeouts remaining, so the Atlanta Falcons, that far, 1:14 left to go. Now the official stops the clock while the Falcons are a little slow getting onside. These officials are very cautious about that after Jerry Hart, one of the officials in the Baltimore-Buffalo game last week, was suspended for 2 games because he didn't stop the clock in the late stages, and Buffalo did not get off a play.
I was at the game, and it was a flagrant thing. They should have had the opportunity to get one more play off.
.48 seconds left to go. Scott Hunter calls his number, and the clock continues to wind down. And these Atlanta Falcons, very shortly, getting on their charter flight back to Georgia.
A very bunch of I should say, a bunch of happy people, too. And they're keeping their scoring down. The defense have got 19 points scored on them, that's all. I'll guarantee you that's going to lead the league.
Lehman Bennett sending in some new troops now on 4th down. Apparently he's going to play basic percentage football. He's going to punt the ball back rather than risk these guys getting, he's going to have John James angle a punt. If the Falcons 4th and 8 coming up, Kenny Myers trying to decide just what's happening to him. 6 seconds, really nothing the 49ers can do. The clock winds down. Now we have an official timeout. Now we have a delay of game against the Falcons. They accept that with no question.
I don't think they really care too much about it. Oh, here they're coming back in again.
We'll be joining Dallas and St. Louis, and they've got a good one going at Busch Stadium in St. Louis as Lehman Bennett, in his 4th game as head coach in the National Football League, is about to annex his 3rd victory. 24-23 is the count at St. Louis. The Cardinals lead Dallas, and they've got a long time to go, so you'll see a lot of good football next. Right now, the Falcons come out of the huddle. 3-second show on the game clock. Atlanta 7, San Francisco nothing. What in the world is that? Well, it was enough to run out the clock. It did look like rugby. So Lehman Bennett and the Falcons exchange congratulations, and off they go as the boos cascade down here at Candlestick Park. The Falcons 3-1 after the season. 4th game. The 49ers 0-4. Don't forget, next Saturday, the Jockey Club Gold Cup, a $300,000 thoroughbred race on the CBS Sports Spectacular. You'll also see the greatest gymnasts in the world, like Nadia Comaneci and Nellie Kim, in the Chunichi Cup from Tokyo, and the World's Strongest Men competition. That's next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Well, the story here today was the Atlanta Falcon defense. Through 4 games this season, they have given up a total of 19 points. They gave up on the average of 22 points a game last year. The touchdown pass from Hunter to Jenkins in the 3rd quarter was the scoring. That was it. And so that is the final number. And for Tom Matty, this is Don Crickey. Glad you could be with us. Now stay tuned for more outstanding football from St. Louis, where the Cowboys and the Cardinals are still matched up.
They lost.